since you heard my voice, but I'm back, and you now tuned in to Mr. Terry TV.
Walking by faith, not by sight. Pain in my head, Bible on the right. Struggle made me strong, pain gave me fight. Devil in my way, God gave me life. Walking by faith, not by sight. Pain in my head, Bible on the right. Struggle made me strong, pain gave me fight. Devil in my way, God gave me life. Born in the dark, but I still found vision. Hustle through the pain, testimony, that's the mission. Said I wouldn't make it, devil tried, but he tripping. God put the hustle in my veins, now I'm dripping. Can't tap hard on the block when I slide. Bible in my pocket, keep the angels on my side.
What's up, everybody? It's your main man. It's your gracious host, Terry Thomas, and I'm back. And it's been a while. I've been away, enjoying my life, going to school, trying to get this good education. Didn't really want to make this video, but I heard some talk in these blind streets, and you already know, just like anything else, we got to address it when we hear it. So, first I want to welcome you back, ladies and gentlemen, my beautiful viewers. Thank you for getting the likes up. Thank you for sharing my videos. I've been away, but I still been keeping an eye on things. I got some more subscribers, so shout out to you. And what I want you to do before we get started, I want you to grab your favorite beverage. I want you to grab your favorite snack, because this one right here, we're going to go in depth and we're going to do something fun. We're going to do something that I didn't get to do while I was at Criss Cole. We are going to do a mock Criss Cole exit interview. Yeah, you heard me right. So I got my questions prepped. I got them ready. And if you like that song that you heard at the beginning, just know it is written and produced by me, Terry Thomas. So before we get started, I got to get some legal things out the way. You know, everything you hear right here is exclusive, copyrighted by me. Original content by Terry Thomas. No duplication of this will be permitted. So any songs, anything that you hear on here, just know right here, right now, it's coming from me, the creator. So before I get started with these questions, what I want to do is I want to do another edition of the Nasty Funky Weasel Report. I said the Nasty Funky Weasel Report. So like I said, it's been a lot of talk out there about people like myself and my uncle, Friend Thomas. A lot of people are saying that we shouldn't have reacted the way we did to the things that happened to us at CCRC, the Criss Cole Rehabilitation Center for the Blind. Some people have said that I've quote unquote ruined my life by making these kind of videos. But all that talk is going to be met with some very good explanations to these questions. So I just want you to know, if you were talking before, we're definitely going to give you something to talk about in this video. So let's get started. Before I read my first question, I'm going to read this to you. So before anyone gets their panties in a bunch about what I'm finna say, just keep this in mind first. It says, students are encouraged to be open and honest about their experience, as this feedback is used to improve the CCRC program. Although an exit interview is encouraged, leaving CCRC training is voluntary, and a student can... I'm glad you said that. Hold up. So, let's run that back. Leaving CCRC training is voluntary and a student can depart at any time. So, the reason why I read that before we get started is because this kind of feedback, the Surviving Criss Cole feedback, is to do two things. Number one, to bring awareness. Number two, to make Criss Cole better. Making it the place we all know it could be and should be, a better place for us as blind people and visually impaired people to get the training that we need so we can get back to our jobs, get back in the classroom and get that education we need. So, let's go with this first question. It says, what is the primary reason for you leaving the CCRC program? Well, the primary reason was, getting straight to the point, I did not choose to leave. I was forced to leave. I was escorted out by an armed security guard, Julie Johnson, as well as Deanna Carter. So, you might say, well, why, Terry? Because I was forced to graduate. I did not get my 12-week work quest. If you don't know what 12 weeks are, that's 3 months. My work quest was sabotaged by my counselor, my career guidance counselor, Marshall Nay, Julie Johnson, and the powers that be. So, if you wonder why I was graduated early, once my work quest came to an end, mysteriously, the whole thing about the whole situation was they forced me to graduate. And once they forced me to graduate, a lot of the people there, they had a lot of nice things to say about all the other graduates. They didn't say anything nice about me at all. They didn't talk about my accomplishments, the great things that I did. They just gave me my quote-unquote diploma, some work quest thing, and a key with no keys on it for my future. That answers that question. And one thing I want to add is a lot of people say I ripped up my diploma during the graduation ceremony on stage. I want to clear that up. We were not on stage. So let's get that straight. If you're going to tell something about me, you're going to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. We were on the ground. We were standing on the carpet. And the graduation ceremony was already over. People were lining up to shake the graduates' hands. So let's get that straight up. None of you have seen my diploma, number one. And number two, you shouldn't be spreading rumors about stuff that you do not know. All right? So, let's go to the next question. I said, you shouldn't be spreading rumors about stuff you don't even know. But that's why we're doing this right here, to get to the truth. So, next question is, did you discuss your concerns with CCRC counselors or staff before deciding to leave? Like I said, I did not decide to leave. I was forced to leave, forced to graduate, and yes, I did discuss all concerns, not only with my supposed counselors, but with Julie Johnson, Trey Shaw, and the people that are above them sending emails. And matter of fact, to answer this question, I will go back and say the evidence that was presented by my uncle and myself was so strong, it got one of the big dogs that is right under Ed Cerner, Tammy Martin, to come to the center, hear us out. And that is the exact reason we got to stay longer, so we could get the classes that we needed, as well as the guaranteed 12-week work quest. That's what was supposed to happen. That was what was mandated to happen. And that is what did not happen mysteriously. So, I will leave it up to you to decide why you think that did not happen. But I know what I was told. I know what I presented in the Surviving Criss Cole, the evidence and everything like that. So hopefully that answers that question in full for you wonderful people out there that are listening to this. Next question is, what did you enjoy most about your training at the center? What I enjoyed most was meeting amazing people. I got to meet some really cool people. And since I bring that up, I want to shout out a couple of people right now. I want to shout out my brother, K5. If you haven't already, I want you to go subscribe to my brother, K5 Visuals on YouTube. He has some amazing music that is going to come out. He's going to drop an album. I got to hear a little bit of it, and it's straight fire. So I want you to go support my brother. I want to shout out my other brother, Anthony Chase. He is a well-dressed, smart, intelligent black man that's out there making changes, making moves to, change things in the blind community. So it was an honor and a privilege to meet Mr. Anthony. I want to shout out my homeboy Stacy Kill. Want to shout out Lauren Jones, Sister Soldier. Want to shout out to OG Sid, Little Sid. Some people that I got the opportunity to meet. You always think your situation is a lot worse than it is until you meet people with greater stories than you. And I got to form friendships that should last a lifetime. I got to meet some amazing instructors. Shout out to Miss Faruta. I will always say Faruta is the best Faruta #1, one of the best, if not the best DLS instructor there is. I want to shout out Stacy Parker. I said I want to shout out Miss Faruta and Stacy Parker. I want to shout out my brother Justice, another wonderful DLS instructor. I want to shout out Kurt, Burt, and Marielle in the IA department for helping me build that confidence in myself. That's exactly something we need when you start losing your vision. Whether you've been born blind or whether you just lost your vision, IA is a wonderful staple at Criss Cole. Let's see. I want to shout out Miss Rosie Manning. I want to shout out Mr. Marcus, wonderful technology instructor, and his wife Rosie is, I would say, by far the best counselor down there in the career guidance department. Those are some great things. Oh yeah, I cannot forget, last but certainly not least, I would say shout out to Jody and Rec, because Rec is a big part of Criss Cole, and you should build Criss Cole around people like Jody, because she has a heart for people. She knows exactly what's going on, and she knows how to make students feel good, feel safe, and feel right at home. And I enjoy spending my time on Run Walk Club, enjoy doing rope courses, going roller skating, going on adventures, because there's nothing like, after a hard day of class, to go out, have fun, and be with an instructor like Jody, somebody that not only understands you, but that can sympathize with you and lift you up at your lowest point. So those are some things that I enjoyed, among the amazing food. So shout out to Big Will, shout out to Autumn, shout out to my boy Xavier, even though I know you don't work there no more. Shout out to Nick, just some people in the kitchen, and Miss Moni, shout out to you. People that helped create the amazing vegan food that I got to enjoy. I really appreciate it very, very much. So shout out to all of you. And even though I'm putting your names out there for all the good that you have done, please don't let anybody tell you or come after you because of this video, because I'm highlighting the good things that you have done and the influence you had on me. Please don't let any of the bad apples at Criss Cole influence you. Don't let them try to gaslight you because I'm giving you praise, So let's move on to the next question. The next question is, what did you like least about your I said, what did you like least about your training? Okay, now we're getting into the spicy questions. We're getting into that stuff that y'all came here for. That traditional Terry Thomas controversy. What I liked least about my training. What I liked least was let me choose my words carefully. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna give it to you raw, uncut, and real. What I liked least about my training was I did not like the racism I came up against. The racism, the discrimination. I did not like the fact that Julie Johnson, who was supposed to be the boss of Criss Cole, you know, the director, couldn't keep her staff in line. I did not like the fact that the deputy director, Trey Shaw, could not keep his co-workers in line and stop them from discriminating against my uncle and myself, and other black students. I cannot emphasize this enough. If you're black at Criss Cole, you're going to have to fight more than anyone else, okay? I want to emphasize that strongly for each and every one of you out there. I did not like the fact that when you get to IA and you're building a wonderful project, you're building some great confidence, that they rush you out of IA just so you can go down to career guidance, and they can get you in career guidance and they can push you up on out of the program and try to give you a work quest that you don't even want, if they give you a work quest at all or a volunteer experience. I did not like the fact that in career guidance, it's not about what you want to do, it's what your instructor wants for you, and more than likely what your instructor wants for you, like David Armstrong or Marshall Ney. What they want for you is not for you to accomplish your goals and your dreams. I would say they want you, if you're a black person, to do the least that you can absolutely do. To quote my former career guidance instructor, the supervisor over career guidance, Marshall Ney, Terry, have you ever considered a life of crime? Now, if that is the kind of instruction you get in career guidance, I recommend these people be removed from Criss Cole, like David Armstrong. When I first got to Criss Cole, David Armstrong was my career guidance instructor. David Armstrong didn't care about anything other than helping some other kid that said he liked music. He went all out his way to get this guy a work quest or volunteer experience at a studio because he wanted to be a rock and roll superstar, just like David Armstrong, an old ass man with still rock and roll dreams, and he has a little band that probably ain't even that good. Oh, did I say that? I did say that. Anyways, if you don't want to be a rock and roll superstar, then he doesn't have any time for you, doesn't really care about you. And that's what I experienced. And I want to say right now that all views and all opinions in this video are strictly my own, Terry Thomas. I want to say that. So, if you get your panties in a twist about what I'm saying, that's what you're here for, is to get my perspective, see it through the unapologetic black lens of what's going on, what happened to me, and that's exactly how I see it. That's what I did not like about my training. I did not like the fact that I went there to get training, to get uplifted and further myself in my goals and my career, and I was stopped by certain people because of my skin color and because of the way that I stood up for myself, my fellow students, and just kept it real and treated people with the respect that I wanted to get treated with. But I got slapped in the face with the reality check of my skin being my sin, and since other people that were pushed to the moon that were non-black, getting better opportunities than me and my uncle, and getting backed by the people, quote unquote, at Criss Cole, getting them positions at Sparrow, getting them positions at other places, and then wanting me or my uncle to go to Goodwill or something. And that's not a knock on Goodwill, or nonprofits. That's just saying, hey, it's not focused on what you want to do. It's focused on what the least work that your career guidance instructor wants to do for you. So I hope that answers that question. Oh yeah, one more thing that I like least about my training was anytime that I or myself went to Julie Johnson, instead of her nipping the problem in the butt right then and there, she did not. It was a jump through a whole bunch of hoops. I felt like if you go to a boss is supposed to lead by example, and Julie Johnson did not do that. So that was a terrible experience. Next question. The next question is, do you feel you received adequate preparation and resources for your career and independent living?
Hold up.
I will say no. I would say in some areas like DLS, when I had the opportunity to work with two of the best, in my opinion, if not the best DLS instructors there is, Miss Faruta. I will always say Faruta is the best, Faruta #1, and Stacy Parker. There I got sufficient training. Got to learn my Braille, got to learn organization, got to learn cooking blindfolded, got to learn something amazing about ATM machines, that they got a little headphone jack and you stick your headphones in there, that it's got the talkback feature, and that's great. That's great. I got to learn some amazing things like shopping blindfolded, all this kind of stuff. So shout out to the two wonderful ladies that I got the privilege and the honor not only to be in their class, but got to know them a little bit better. Shout out to you, Miss Faruta, and shout out to you, Miss Stacy Parker. And in IA, I got to build some great confidence, got to build an amazing Bluetooth speaker that I'm very proud of to this day. Got to take the 3 favorite pieces of wood from each of the instructors, Kurt, Bert, and Miss Marielle, and build an amazing project. So I got some great training there. But when it came to career guidance, that was lackluster at best. If I had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, I would rate it a -20, because having to interact with David Armstrong and having to interact with Marshall Ney was absolutely terrible. Terrible. And I would say having to go to class and be in the presence of a person like Mr. Shane Keller and have to sit there while somebody insistently keeps on talking about touching your hands is not cool at all, So I want to tell you, just because you're blind or visually impaired, you do not need somebody telling you that they need to touch you for you to get a concept. That was not something good that I experienced. I want to put this out there. I'm heterosexual. Hetero, that I like women. I'm not that kind of way. If whatever your sexual orientation is, that is perfectly fine with me. But as far as me, I like women. And I'm not saying that Shane Keller is any type of way. That I'm just saying it made me feel very uncomfortable, made other students feel uncomfortable. But that's for them to tell. I'm giving you my perspective, straight up, straight down, giving it to you, raw, real, and honest. I got to meet some other instructors there in the technology department, like Joel. Joel is great. I got to meet Kevin Ratliff, You know, he had some really sassy comebacks and comments and stuff like that. But I did learn a lot from Kevin. And Mr. Otis, I thought he was cool, but I have noticed Mr. Otis is kind of reckless at the mouth, and he will yell at you and talk to people any kind of way, and I think that is very unprofessional. I think that if not corrected, I think put in the wrong situation, he may say something to the wrong person, and that could lead to an altercation at Criss Cole. So y'all might need to check that right there. I think that needs to be something that's looked at. But overall, other than IA, other than DLS and stuff like that, I think, and other than technology, I feel like I'm good at technology, but those classes could have been a lot longer. Other than those areas, I did not get sufficient training. I'm going to let you know that right now. I felt like I was robbed of some things that would have been very crucial to my career goals, and I fully blame Criss Cole for that. I fully blame Julie Johnson, Trey Shaw for that. I fully blame TWC for being over Criss Cole and not nipping these problems in the butt when we address them and put them in writing in these emails and everything like that. So I will say that. Next question. The next question is, was the supervision and support you received from instructors and counselors sufficient? I will say, by some instructors, like the good ones I named, like Miss Faruth and Miss Stacy Parker. I would say from Marcus Manning, Miss Rosie Manning, it was positive. From the DLS instructor Justice, it was constructive, it was great, uplifting. By Miss Jody and Rec, it was good. But by my counselors, my career guidance instructors, people like that, the bad people, the bad apples that you're going to hear me name, like Marshall Ney, Michael Sanchez, David Armstrong, these people, by Julie Johnson, Trey Shaw, Jeff Malzo with the stinky dog, Deanna Carter. I said Jeff Malzo with the stinky dog. Y'all know that dog stinky. I need to make that man watch that dog. Anyways, by Rafalina Emong, I guess that's her name. It was not sufficient enough. Those people are supposed to have got a college education, but one thing that you cannot pay for is common sense. You can't pay for common sense. Either you got it or you don't. Either you got too much book smarts and not enough common sense, or common sense and not enough book smarts or street smarts. And I'm going to tell you something. The bad apples at Criss Cole that are paid to do the job that they're supposed to do, they don't have common sense. So, no, it was not sufficient at all. No, it was not. So, what I'm going to do at this time, we're going to take a break. So you can hear a word from our sponsors of this video, Wifey Vision. The only glasses that will tell you the truth about your situationship. So, we're going to take a pause for the calls, hear from our sponsors for this video, and we'll be right back.
Are you tired of one-night regrets? Ready to settle down and be a household man? Introducing Wifey Vision, the AI truth checker for hearts and halos. We don't judge by filters, we detect character. From cookouts to first dates, Wifey Vision helps you spot a queen worth bringing home. Because the love might be blind, but you don't have to be. Disclaimer. Side effects may include laughter, confidence, and haters catching feelings. All parody products created and produced by Terry Thomas, the original Mr. Friendly.
And we are back. Hope y'all enjoyed that brief intermission. Hope y'all enjoyed that sponsor. So, we are back. in full effect, ready to finish up this mock Criss Cole exit interview. I hope y'all enjoying yourselves. Before we get started, once again, I would like you to hit that like button. If you haven't already, please subscribe so you can be aware, and hit that bell. Hit that bell for all your notifications so you can make sure you get every notification when your boy posts another video. Let's build this community strong. Share this video with somebody that you think needs to hear it, that needs to hear this truth. And if you're a hater out there listening to me right now, if you don't agree with what I say, how about you put it in the comments? Whether you like this video, whether you don't like it, put it in the comments. Let me know how you feel, because I'm not here for you to like me. I'm here to make you think. So let's continue with these questions. So my next question is, it says, did the training program meet your expectations? No, it did not. No, it did not. Because when I went to Criss Cole, I was told, excuse me, I was told that it was going to be a 9 months to a year program. And I was told all the great things that I would experience at Criss Cole and stuff like that. But I was not told that I would be met with discrimination. I was not told that I would be met with having to encounter people that would derail and try to stop me from reaching my goals, like getting in college and moving to Austin and trying to help my fellow students as well as myself achieve. The thing that I wanted to do when I went to Criss Cole was make it better than I found it, leave it better than I found it. I wanted to create a culture at Criss Cole where everybody would help each other, everybody could feel safe, everybody could, support each other. But a lot of people seen that as change. A lot of people acted like they liked me and acted like they liked what I was doing and helping my fellow students and helping each other, building that great culture. And then, those pat on the backs were just looking for a soft spot to stick a knife right in it, if that makes sense. So no, Criss Cole, the program did not meet my expectations. And if I had to give it a rating, it would definitely be unfavorable due to all the bad apples there. You have some great instructors at Criss Cole, but it's a shame that the great instructors are overshadowed by their bad counterparts. That's what brings this program down, in my opinion. So until that's rectified, they will continue to get a bad rating when it comes to my opinion. Alright, so the next question is, how would you describe the overall training environment and culture at the center? How would I describe it? I would say at first, when you're getting there, you're excited. The environment is great. You're interacting with other students and stuff like that, and you're getting to know new people, get to meet the great instructors, and you're building that confidence. Like I said, everybody's hype about being in IA. Everybody's excited about learning new things. And then once you're after the honeymoon phase and you're getting your feet wet, I would describe the culture as if you let it. If you don't fight for yourself and you let it bring you down, it can. Because if you're new to this being blind thing and you're hearing Jaws for the first time and you gotta listen to these screen readers, and you know, if your technology skills ain't up to par, it's gonna be hard. It's hard. This is hard. This ain't for the weak. This walk, being blind, being visually impaired, is the toughest thing you'll ever do in your life. Trust me, ask anybody. And then when you encounter these bad instructors, whether it's, I'm gonna name some names. I don't care. I'm gonna name some names. And what I'm going to say, I'm going to make sure I'm going to say allegedly before I say something that is controversial. I'm going to say, for people who have allegedly ran into Mr. Winfred Haynes, the female students that are scared, allegedly he says, inappropriate things, makes them feel uncomfortable. Allegedly, you got this guy touching on your hands, saying things like, I want to see your hands glide, I want to feel your hands glide across the keyboard. Allegedly, oh, you got some nice soft hands, kind of like Jenga Leg in the movie Life. Oh, your hands are nice and supple like a lady's. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. You're kind of getting railroaded out of your work quests and your volunteer experiences when you can do both your volunteer or your work quest at the center. They tell you, oh, you can do one here and one in the field, but when you do one in the field, it don't never happen. That's what I would describe the environment as. I would say, imagine this, visualize this for a second. The environment at Criss Cole is this. It's a duality. It's good and evil. Because I would say it's like this. Picture this. Close your eyes for a minute and picture this. Picture you're hanging on the side of a mountain, right? You got one person, which is the good instructors that are trying to pull you up to safety. And you got the bad people with their foot on your face, pushing you down, trying to make your grip falter from the good instructors pushing you down to your demise. That's what I'm saying. It's a duality. And I know you can't have the bitter without the sweet or the sweet without the bitter, but I'm just saying that's the environment there. You got good people pulling you in a good direction, and you got bad people that are trying to get you out of there as soon as possible. That's what I'm saying, because it's about the money. It's about the money. The state of Texas is paying for you to get an education, and I want you to know they're paying for your room, your board, your food, everything. They're paying for you to be there. And these certain people in power at Criss Cole, like your Julie Johnsons and your deputy director Trey Shaw, as well as the people that are above them, your Ed Cerners, your Tammy Martins, your Cheryl Fullers. These people are sending these orders down. Allegedly, they're sending these orders down. Hey, get them in, get them out. A lot of people ain't getting that technology that they're supposed to get in that ATU evaluation. Why? Because we're trying to keep this money so our bonuses will get bigger. You feel me? So I'm just keeping it real with you. Allegedly, this is what's going on up there. So moving to the next question. These next questions are about future goals. Now, it says, no, we ain't gonna do that yet. We ain't gonna do that one yet. We're gonna say that for the end. Okay, so what are your career plans and goals? Short and long term. That right there, I'm gonna keep to myself. I'm gonna skip that question respectfully, because in true Criss Cole fashion, if I told you my goals and long-term, short-term goals, you would try to stop me. The only thing you need to know is that I'm against any kind of injustice. And any kind of injustice I will stand up against. That's why I made this channel, for people like you that are listening, that need that encouragement, that have that voice but may be afraid to step up and say what you got to say. So knowing that people in our community need a voice, instead of sitting back and saying, why doesn't somebody do something, I chose to make a channel that is unapologetically black, unapologetically real and raw, and giving what the system needs, what the community needs, is a voice of inspiration, motivation, and calling out what's wrong. Let's move on to the next question. The next question is, how do you plan to achieve your goals after leaving CCRC? Yet again, I'm going to respectfully pass that question, because that's none of your business. That is none of your business at all. Okay. It says, do you feel confident in your ability to live independently and navigate your community? Yes, but let's get this straight. Yes, I do. But I've lived in my community where I'm at all my life, except for the short time I was away. So I already know my surroundings, and I got some amazing training at Criss Cole in the O&M department from Helena. I got to work with some other instructors like Drew and Yael. So shout out to you. I carry my cane wherever I go. I used to not do that, but I do now. Ever since I left Criss Cole, I do carry it everywhere I go now. So my orientation and mobility is better than it was. Believe that. But independent living, I got some amazing training in DLS. Yes. But other than that, other than the things that I was helped with in DLS or O&M, please believe, other than that, I was already sufficient at knowing my community that I live in and my surroundings like that. So I would say that. All right, we getting down here to the end, ladies and gentlemen. I wasn't gonna keep you long, because let's be realistic. A lot of people say, "Oh, I didn't watch the Criss Cole, the Surviving Criss Cole videos because they were long." They were 6 hours. All of them weren't 6 hours long. And if you didn't watch them, let's be realistic. If you can sit there and you can watch a full 1 or 2 seasons of these shows, binge watching these shows on Netflix or whatever you want to watch, you're lazy and you didn't want to hear the truth. I put everything in there that you needed to know in the Surviving Criss Cole videos. If you didn't take the time to listen, you probably didn't care. It probably didn't pertain to you, or you didn't even want to know the truth. I gave my side, I gave Criss Cole's side, I gave you recordings, I gave you their words to my uncle and myself. So if you didn't watch it, I suggest you go back and watch it. And if you have an opinion about me or my uncle and you did not take the time to listen to what we presented in professional fashion, then you should not be running your mouth in the first place. All right, let's get to these last little bit of questions. And I have something special for you guys. If you stay to the end, I got something special for you, a world premiere, something that you're gonna want to hear. All right, so these last 3 questions are crucial. Very crucial. They're very, very, very crucial.
Hold up.
I said these last 3 questions are crucial. You are not going to want to leave. You are going to want to stay to the end so you can hear my response to these questions, please. All right. The next question is, what suggestions would you make to improve?
Hold up.
I said, what suggestions would you make to improve the training program or the center's services? Let me say this straight up. You ready for it? You ain't ready. You ain't ready for my answer, man. Let me move on. You know what? I'm going to stay on this question. It's going to be controversial, so get it ready. You see what I'm saying? If I wanted to improve the program and the services, I would do a mass firing of all the bad people I named. I would fire Julie Johnson, Trey Shaw. I would fire Jeff Malzo, Saggy Bottom Deanna Carter. I would fire Marshall Ney. I will fire Ada Mendoza. I will fire Conrad Cruz. I will fire CC at the front desk for making male students feel uncomfortable and coming to work high. I would fire Marshall Ney. I will fire Marshall Ney. Give me just a second. My apologies. I'm a very busy man. Anyways, I will fire Marshall Ney, Michael Sanchez, David Armstrong. I will fire Shane Keller. I will fire Mr. Otis. I will fire Jesse Johnson. I will fire, this one's going to be controversial right here. I will go through the O&M department and I will fire Winfred Haynes, allegedly for being a dirty old man and telling female students, allegedly, you got a nice hiney. If you don't know what a hiney is, it's a buttocks, a butt, a gluteus maximus, and nice quads. I would fire Winfred Haynes for not only allegedly being a dirty old man, but being known for allegedly wrapping his leg around people and running his hand through their hair, or being known allegedly for squeezing breasts, or having an alleged booty grabbing hand. What? Huh? Yeah? Huh? Oh, that hurts some feelings, right? Oh, don't care, because that's the truth. Allegedly, this is what's going on. And for the people that have witnessed this and felt this, you need to speak up and say something about it. Okay. And if I was going to make the services better, from what I heard from some instructors that have told me that, I said, if I was going to make it better, the program better, maybe it shouldn't be under TWC anymore, because I heard it was a lot better when it was DARS, you know, under the Division for Blind and Rehabilitative Services. So maybe they need to have somebody else over it, because from what I hear, it doesn't seem like Ed Cerner, Tammy Martin, Cheryl Fuller give a damn about what's going on at Criss Cole. As long as it's kicking money up to their pockets, as long as people are getting funneled through there just like some cattle to a beef packing house, allegedly, you know, as long as they getting the money and the funds from the Texas citizens, it don't matter if anybody's getting trained properly or not. And I would also make the program longer. I would make the classes longer, because in college, where I am right now, in college, most semesters are either 8 weeks for a certain subject or 16 weeks. So if a college is structured that way, why in the hell isn't Criss Cole Rehabilitation Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired structured that way? You tell me why. Okay, on top of that, I'm just gonna say, those are my suggestions for that particular subject. The next question would be, what would you recommend? Would you recommend Criss Cole Rehabilitation Center for the blind to other blind adults? Why or why not? Yes, I would, for the simple fact of this. Even though I have my grievances with Criss Cole, there are some good instructors there that I feel like blind adults should meet. Whether they're newly blind or being born blind all their life, this can be a great place. I will still recommend this place to them, but I will say this: if you're black, if you're a black person, black man, woman, if you're a young man, a young woman just got out of high school, you need to go to Criss Cole. Whether you're an older person, you need to go to Criss Cole. But understand, if you're black, put your hands up right now, ball your fists up, because baby, you're going to have to fight for everything you get in there. You got to go in there and let them know what you need. And if you don't get it, you need to watch Surviving Criss Cole, because I'm going to lace you up with the game so you can get exactly what you need. And that's facts. So, the next and most important question is coming next. But please make sure that you like, comment, subscribe. Please stay to the end, because you're going to want to hear what I got to say. And don't forget about the world premiere or what's coming up next. So please stay tuned. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's come time for the last question. And this may be the most important question. It is, let's see, where is it at? Okay. It says, is there anything else you would like to tell us about your experience at Criss Cole Rehabilitation Center for the Blind and Visually Impaired? Yes. I gotta say this. This is the most important part, so I said, thank y'all for staying with me to the end. But there's a lot of things I gotta get off my chest right now about my experience at Criss Cole. One thing that boggles my mind, I don't understand why a lot of the people out there want to talk trash about myself, Terry Thomas, and my uncle. I don't get that, because we've been called a lot of things. We've been called troublemakers. One staff member, Winfred Haynes, classified me and my uncle as the Terry Thomas gang. Terry Thomas gang. And I want to address that real quick. And I want to say, this one's for you, Mr. Winfred Haynes. Don't think I didn't hear about you trying to big brother my friend K, K5. When you pulled him to the side and said, hey, I noticed that you hanging out with the Terry Thomas gang and everything like that. And you saying, oh yeah, Terry and Brent, they're over there spreading rumors about discrimination and stuff like that. Oh, they spreading these rumors. I've been here this long and I haven't seen any discrimination. Winfred, that's because you're a coon. And what I mean by that, you're a coon. And you are so whitewashed. You think those white people at Criss Cole love you because you're supposed to be some record-breaking first black Paralympian to do this or do that. Let me tell you something. As a black man to another black man, Winfred, I am ashamed of you. Because I am ashamed that, number one, that you as a black man are going to put a label on me and my uncle and say that we're a gang. I've never been associated with a gang. I don't have to get beat up to have friends. I don't believe in gang culture. So for you to say that about another black man is disgusting. And allegedly, you're a dirty old man that likes to prey upon his female students. Allegedly. I'm going to say allegedly. But a lot of you know what I'm talking about. So you think you're beyond reproach. You're not. You're definitely not, Winfred. And I'm ashamed, number one, that you're black, and I'm ashamed, number two, that you've been getting away with what you've been doing at Criss Cole for so long that everybody's blind to it and people want to let you slide. But I'm not going to let you slide. I want to say that. And for the people that don't like what I just said about Mr. Winfred Haynes, I don't give a damn. Because Winfred, you don't have the gall to say any of those allegations to my face. But what you do have the gall to do is to go around and make female students feel uncomfortable, allegedly. And another thing I would like to say for all the people out there that say Terry, you shouldn't have responded to the things that happened to you with Criss Cole the way you do. Well, let me ask you a question. I'm going to ask y'all a rhetorical question. Have any one of you people out there that I went to Criss Cole with, or went to Criss Cole before me or after me, that are there currently, have any of y'all ever been treated less than a human being? Have you ever been escorted out of a state facility by an armed security guard, the director of the center, Julie Johnson, and a counselor, Deanna Carter? Have you ever been forced to leave a center like that? Because if you haven't, then really you can't tell me a damn thing. Have you been told by your white instructor that, have you ever considered a life of crime? Me being a black man, that offends me. Because you know what? I ain't never been to jail a day in my life. I'm an upstanding person. My record is clean. But for somebody to tell me that works at a state facility is disgusting. Have you ever been denied resources because of the color of your skin? Have you been denied resources when other people are getting premier work experiences? Have you ever been made to get your own work quest experience? When they refuse to help you, you got to put together a list. They put unrealistic restrictions on you. Oh, you got to call 20 contacts a day, and if you don't, we're going to take that as you're not trying hard enough. And then when I get my work quest that I did on my own, that I got on my own without Criss Cole's help, I got on my own, then they go out of their way to sabotage it. Then they humiliate me and make me sit outside of a liquor store. A black man sitting outside of a liquor store when I get approached by what looks to be a white supremacist security guard that asks me, hey man, are you all right? You're here, sitting out here and stuff like that. Just want to make sure you're fine. An armed security guard approaches me while I'm sitting there waiting on a ride to get to my other destination, to the custom t-shirt place that I'm doing a work quest at. And then they tell me, Terry, I don't see why you want a cab over there. It's right across the highway. Why don't you walk right under 290, the highway? And then damn near I almost get hit by a car. And then when I tell Julie Johnson about it, she say, oh, that's okay. You just got to keep walking. So who's to say that they weren't potentially trying to get me killed, right? None of you have ever had to do that. And for the people that sit there and talk about me and my uncle, y'all have never went through the things we went through. I'm going to say that real quick right now. You couldn't walk. Let's get this straight. What separates me from you, a lot of you, and this ain't for the loyal people out there. This is for the disloyal out there. That's for the disloyal people out there that have said things about me that they know aren't true. The same people I helped and went out of my way to help when they asked me to, whether it's helping you with your homework, whether it's taking you to the store, whether it's, making sure you feel safe, or just have somebody to talk to. This is for those people that call themselves my friends and aren't my friends, really. This is for the instructors out there that know that I'm a good person, that have seen me do great things, but still turn your head and let your coworkers speak about me in ways you know that aren't true. So let's get one thing straight. A lot of you couldn't go through what I went through up there at Criss Cole and still be a good person and still be willing to help people. And some people said, well, maybe Terry's jaded. No, I ain't jaded. I'm just real. And some of y'all couldn't never walk in my size 14 tennis shoes. You feel me? So another thing that gets me about my experience at Criss Cole, I got to talk about two people. I got to talk about two instructors. I got to talk about Kevin Ratliff and Angela. I forgot her last name. Kevin was a joy to be around. I got to be honest. He's the president of ACB Austin chapter, and I'm glad I got to meet him. He introduced me to the ACB. But I got to keep it real. Mr. Kevin Thank you for teaching me about Android and everything like that. I got a Galaxy watch because of you, brother. But I do have to say, Kevin, I mean, one thing that hurt me to my soul, man, is when I went to the ACB conference in Houston, and man, you really didn't talk to me like that. And same thing with you, Angela. Angela, I gotta be honest, you know, I thought you were hella cool, man. You were a cool receptionist and stuff. But one thing I didn't like about you, Miss Angela, is this: hey, you kind of played me. You were playing me and my uncle, you know. At first you all smiles and talking to us. You know, we were the Thomases. Nephew Thomas, Uncle Thomas. You said, Terry, you know you my future husband, right? You know, cool little stuff. You invited us over for Friendsgiving and stuff like that. You know, all types of stuff like that. But then, when we started exposing stuff about what was going on and about the racism, at first you were cool with it. You were like, you pulled us to the side and say, hey Terry, just want to let you know, we support you. We here. We got your back. But as soon as we start getting a little too real or too raw and exposing everything, then you start telling people to stay away from me and my uncle, distance myself. You start telling Lauren Jones, you start telling Anthony Chase, you start telling my brother K5, oh, you want to stay clear and just worry about yourself and stay away from what Terry and Brent got going on. Why is that? Why is that? My thing is this: I respect you, Angela. I respect you, Kevin. But right is right and wrong is wrong. You know what I'm saying? When I seen you both at the conference in Houston, y'all really didn't talk to me. Y'all gave me the cold shoulder. The only two instructors that spoke to me and, you know, act like nothing wasn't going on was Rosie and Marcus, because they real. They solid. And that's what I like. Marcus and Rosie, always real. Always solid. So I got to shout them out. But Angela and Mr. Kevin, that was wrong, man. And I love the ACB. And, you know, Mr. Kevin, when you were talking about, hey, we need to get some young people in here, I told everybody I know about the ACB and got some people up in there. Got some of the current members up in there. Brought them to their first ACB meeting. So I just think that's wrong, man. Don't distance yourself from me because I'm keeping it real. Because I'm doing what most people ain't going to do, and that's keep it G. I'm keeping it as real as it can be. I'm calling out injustice, and that's what these organizations are supposed to be about. And another thing is, I got to talk about some fake people. I got to talk about some fake folks out there, and I'm going to name names, and it's going to ruffle some feathers, but hey, you know, oh well. I got to talk about somebody that act like they were my friend and ain't. I mean, let's talk about, how do y'all go around and support these people that y'all know are trifling and no good? And the first person that come to my mind is Rick St. Juan. Rick St. Juan is supposed to be a leader. He's supposed to be the president or the vice president or something of the ACB Fort Worth chapter. He's supposed to have this thing, blind leading the blind, this supposed alleged organization to help blind people. But see, my beef with Rick St. Juan is this: Rick St. Juan only started talking to me and my brother K5, my brother Keelan, when we were in the cafeteria talking about doing YouTube and music and stuff. Then his antennas, his colonizer antennas popped up and talking about, oh yeah, you know, y'all are the type of young guys that, you know, the young blood that, you know, I wanted to help with my non-profit organization and stuff like that. Oh yeah. And then when I took you to the ACB meeting, me and Kay took you to the ACB meeting up here at Austin, the Austin chapter, then you start talking crap about Kevin and them, saying that they were just like the people at Fort Worth at the ACB up there, that they didn't want to change and they didn't want the young people. And then I give it to you. You took me out, me, my uncle Kay, you took me and some people out to Conan's Pizza because you wanted to say, I just want to say that I know you then. And I want to break bread with you to say I know you. But all you wanted to do, Rick, what I noticed is that all you wanted to do was attach yourself to people with talent because you have none. You want to attach yourself to people. That's why you go up there to Criss Cole to every graduation. And you want people to think that you're some sweet old man. But when really you're just a leech. You're a leech, brother. And you know what made me really start thinking different about you is when, number one, when you start trying to throw shade at my brother Anthony Chase. You know, you said something out the way to Anthony and he checked you on it. And then at the Houston conference, the ACB conference, you were trying to talk to my brother K about me, and K told you like a man should. He told you, he said, Rick, if you got something to say and you want something to know about Terry, how about you talk to him? Tell him that you want to meet. And you did. I give you that. You called my phone and told me you want to meet me downstairs by the bar. So we talked. And what you told me was this. You showed me how intelligent you are, Rick. This is what you did. You told me you want to talk to me about my videos. But you didn't watch all my Surviving Criss Cole video, but you got an opinion. That make you look like a damn fool for assuming things about me that you didn't even have the time to listen to. You said, God, it was so long and I couldn't listen to any of it, all of it. And boy, you could talk, because I got the gift of gab, and I thank God for that every day. But Rick, let's keep it real, man. You gonna tell me, oh, well, you should think about the other students at Criss Cole. What about these students? What if they close down the center because of what you're saying? You are worried about everybody else more than you're worried about what's going on. How you gonna call yourself a leader of anybody when you don't give a damn about injustice? I care about injustice no matter what color it is, but Rick, only thing you care about is you and furthering your so-called non-profit. And from what I heard, allegedly, you ain't even got your paperwork filled out a year and something later. You ain't even got your paperwork together, Rick. So what kind of leader are you? And what kind of non-profit organization are you trying to run? Oh, what's up with that? And my thing is, you were against what I was saying, but you're Mr. Oh, the people like me. The people like me. And I'm going to talk to Julie Johnson about getting speeches. I heard that you went in there. I heard that you went in there and talked to Jeff. And you start brainstorming with Jeff, talking about pitching your bring it back speech idea, right? Right? So then you get in front of Julie Johnson and you find out how big of a snake that Jeff Malzo is, right? Because then he act like he don't know what you're talking about, allegedly, right? Allegedly. And when Julie Johnson don't go along with what you want to do, then all of a sudden, what do you say? Oh, that Deanna Carter, she sure is a real bitch. Oh, God, Molly. Oh, God, Molly. Oh, they need to fire Julie Johnson. Ain't that what you said, Rick? Oh, God, Molly. Now they a bitch because they don't do what you want to do. Then you going to have the audacity to say, I agree. I think Terry's on the right track. No, don't try to kiss my ass now because you didn't want nothing to do with what I was saying. You were against that. And another thing is, another leader that y'all got that I don't understand is a lady up there that worked there named Carla, right? Now, personally, this is me. I don't understand how some of these same people that y'all follow and like so much are some of the same people that are coming to me and asking me for advice. But I remember being in the cafeteria and I remember Carla asking me, Terry, you know, I know you have Marshall and stuff like that, and I had him when I went through the BET program, and he was nothing but kind to me, but, you know, I want a work quest too, and I know you said Marshall sabotaged your work quest, but they're telling me I don't need a work quest because I was in the BET program and I ran a restaurant and stuff like that. But what should I do, Terry? What should I do? And I give her advice and stuff. And this is one of the main people that made me think, I thought Carla was a real nice old lady, you know what I'm saying? But really, Carla, she a user too. She a fork tongue, backstabbing, you know, person. And my thing is, you had everything to say bad about some of the staff members there, but you kiss ass so good. I said she had everything to say bad about the people at Criss Cole and stuff like that. Went in there and talked shit about the food and everything like that. But You got all this bad stuff to say, but you kissing ass so good, you end up getting the job there, right? Before you graduated. I thought you had to wait up there 6 months, 3 months, 6 months to a year to get a job. But let me tell you something, when you ain't black, when you're non-black, when you're another race, you can get whatever you want up there. Criss Cole look like to me. Look like to me. So I had to shout that out. Now let's get on to these supposed friends. And I'm going to tell you something. Let me go ahead and clear the air out. Clear the air. I'm just keeping it real with y'all. Let me go ahead and clear the air right here with y'all. See, I used to have a homeboy. You know, you used to call us homies. Now you act like you don't even know me. So, my thing is, when I got to Criss Cole, I met somebody named Scott Preston. Right? This was my homie, I thought. I met him. He was into the vegan lifestyle and everything. So he taught me a lot about being a vegan. I appreciate that. You know, so I ended up eating vegan up there. Me and Scott were real cool. He took me to the barber college down the street. You know, I got to meet his mother. His mother is a nice lady. So shout out to you, Miss Preston. She took us all over the place. Introduced me to Voodoo Donuts, Amy's Ice Cream, all types of stuff, man. But this is where I seen the change in my homie. You know, Scott, he got there with my uncle. So he got there in May. Scott, once he started about to graduate and stuff like that, his tune started to change. He would be the same person in the lunchroom or in the East Lounge and stuff like that, talking crap about the staff, talking crap, saying, yeah, they are treating black people wrong and stuff like that. But when it came time for his ATU evaluation to get technology and stuff like that, he said, no, T, I don't like Jeff. You know, Jeff sucks and everything like that, but I'm only going to be nice to him to get the technology I need. I think that's kind of coonish, Scott. I got to keep it real with you, brother, because I'm not willing to coon or buffoon for anybody. Then you start switching up. Man. It's a scary thing when you see your dog, your homeboy, turn into a snake. And I know there was a kid on tour and he came up with the nickname, you know, he was naming everybody animals. And when he got to Scott, he said Scott the Skunk. And Scott don't like that nickname. But bruh, the way you switched up, man, and you want to distance yourself from me because I'm putting out the truth, me and my uncle putting out the truth, and you say, oh, well, you tell Anthony up there at Sparrow, I had to distance myself from Terry, man, because he putting that stuff on Facebook, and I'm trying to get a job, and I can't really be cool with that. Well, let me ask you something, Scott. Do you got a job yet? I don't think so, brother. You and your lady Kimberlyn, you know what I'm saying? Kimberlyn, thought we were cool too. But, you know, I started knowing that you got that know-it-all syndrome and stuff. You think you smarter than everybody. But I tell you what, man, I want to congratulate you on getting married next year and stuff like that. But, bro, I'm going to tell you something. I thought we were brothers, homie. And you turned your back on me, Kimberlyn. You know, I heard you been saying some stuff, you know what I'm saying? You've been talking to Lauren, saying some stuff, saying y'all don't agree with how I acted and how I said, and them people ain't trying to be discriminatory and stuff. But let me tell you something, neither one of y'all ain't ever been discriminated up there like I have. But I guess since I don't got a college education, I guess I ain't smart enough to realize when I'm being mistreated, huh? But I tell you what, Scott, I'm happy for you. I'm glad you're getting married, my brother. But I'm going to tell you something. You and Kimberlyn, I wish y'all the best and stuff like that. But I'm glad. I'm glad that y'all doing good. But I'm sad to hear that y'all separated yourself from me. And I'm sad that you wasn't a man that could tell me face to face that you didn't agree with me. You feel me? But I just got to keep it all the way real with you. And I think that the fact that you let your woman beat you up is disgusting. I gotta be honest with you. Kimberlyn beating you up and she probably bullied you into getting married in the first place. Let's keep it real like that. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about somebody that was near and dear to me. I'm gonna tell y'all one more thing, well, two more things about my experience. One thing that I don't like is when another race try to separate black people from getting along. Because I got to meet a lot of wonderful people up there at Criss Cole. But one of the things that makes me mad is people saying to me and other people that, two people I can name, other people saying that, oh, did you really get discriminated against, or did Terry influence you? You know what I'm saying? Somebody said this, a girl, I ain't gonna even say somebody, Deanna, my homie, my ex-home girl, Deanna, you know what I'm saying? Didn't you tell Kay, didn't you say, oh, did Terry influence you? Or you getting treated like that? Or did Terry influence you? What? What? You don't think black people are smart to think for themselves? Or somebody told my brother Anthony, oh, did you really get discriminated like that against? Or did Terry influence you? That's one thing I can't stand. When black brothers are building, black sisters are building, you always got somebody, either one of your own, of your race, or another black person, or another non-black person, trying to put a rift between brothers and sisters. And I'm telling you that I don't allow that up in here at all. Because you know what? The people that I surround myself around, even though some of them turn their back on me, I stand up for people that I associate with. And some of the people that I associate with stand up for me, like my brother Kay and my brother Anthony and stuff like that. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I do take that personal. I'm gonna be real honest. And Deanna, me and you were homies and stuff like that, but I heard straight up. I wasn't even out the building 24 hours and you gonna say, oh, Terry's the reason why everybody's divided. What? Let's keep it real. Let's keep it all the way real. Terry Thomas, let me say that again, Terry Thomas, I'm the reason for people up there at Criss Cole wanting to associate with each other. I made an effort, me and my uncle made an effort to treat everybody with respect. I wanted everybody to get along. And Deanna, let's keep it real. I'm going to take it to the internet because I'm going to keep it real with you. What better friend you got than me? What better friend did you have than me? Because every time you were with me, my uncle, Anthony, Kay, you were safe. All the girls were safe around us. But it's when you get with these other people that you feel scared. What did y'all say? When you went to Brass Tap, what did you say when you were at Brass Tap with these other people like Raul, Luis, Jesus, and all these people? What did y'all say? What did you and Lil Sid say? You know, when they were getting drunk out their mind and acting a fool. I want to call Terry. And what did they tell you? No. You wanted to call Terry to make sure y'all got home safe. Y'all wanted to get back to the center safe, and they wouldn't, because they could have done God knows what to y'all. Because those are the kind of people, allegedly, that y'all like to surround yourselves with. I would say you, Deanna, Audrey, all y'all ladies out there that know that these dudes are scumbags and they want to get you drunk so they can take advantage of you, allegedly. But y'all want to be surrounded by these people, so I'm going to let you. But the thing that got me is, especially when you think you got homies, is these same people. Before I left, you said, T, I don't want anything. I don't want us to leave on bad terms. You gave me a hug. You were crying. You say, feel my face, Terry, I'm crying. You gave me a hug. Was holding on to me tight. Thought you were my homie. But then you act like you don't know me. You want to say, I'm the reason people are divided up there. You know what? I'm going to tell you something. If you're listening to what I'm saying, you better watch your friends you're around, the people that you call your brothers, your sisters, whatever. Because I'm going to tell you, everybody don't mean that. I'm going to keep it straight like that. Me and my Uncle Brent, we ain't never treated nobody wrong. We ain't never done nothing wrong. We didn't crash out. And that's another thing about Rick St. Juan, too. Rick, I heard that you went up there to Criss Cole and showed your whole ass. You went up there cussing people out, cussing the staff out. You didn't get in your way. I heard you the reason that former students can't even go up there and go to the East Lounge, can't go into the smoking patio, aka Stacy's office, stuff like that, because you went up there and acted a fool so bad. But they still allow you to be up there. But a brother like myself and my uncle, we ain't even allowed on the damn premises. What's up with that? You mean if you're another race, you can go up there and act any damn kind of way you want to? But when you're black, when you want to help everybody and unite everybody, oh, you ain't welcome in the building. I think that's a damn shame right there. So let me go ahead and say this. I thank y'all guys for rocking out with me, and I'm a man of my word. Just like I promised, I said I was gonna do something special for you if you stayed to the end. I just want to say this: like, comment, subscribe, share this video with somebody you think may need it. But I will say this before I show you what I want to show y'all. I want to say this for all the people out there that don't have the balls to call my phone, to reach out to me and want to spread rumors about me and say things that are untrue, like I ripped my diploma up, that I divided everybody, that I did all these horrible things. Make sure when you say all those lies that you tell the truth. Tell people how I made sure that you were safe. Tell people how I helped you with your damn homework. Tell people how I, Terry Thomas, how my uncle were willing to help you with anything that you needed. And for the ones I didn't even like, I helped you too. And you know it. And you know, make sure that the next time you speak about me, you tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Let me show you what I wanted to show you guys. Let me break it down like this. This is the world premiere of a song that I wrote, that I produced. And this goes along with my Criss Cole story. Enjoy it. Check it out.
This one's for every blind brother and sister they tried to erase. Terry Thomas, Brent Thomas, we done been through hell, and we still stand. If you run from the truth, we gon' bring it to the light. Fuck Criss Cole. This one's for justice. When I say fuck, you say Criss Cole. Fuck Criss Cole. Fuck Criss Cole. We done with the lies, we taking back control. Fuck Criss Cole. Fuck Criss Cole. Walk through those doors looking for skills and hope, but what we found inside got us losing scope. Classes too short, promises thin as air. Tax money wasted while they pretend they care. Black kids getting left with crumbs while the others fed feast. They hand us benefits, but they rob us of the keys. We came to learn to live, left with less than before. Criss Cole was supposed to open doors, but they slammed them all. When I say fuck, you say Criss Cole. Fuck Criss Cole. Fuck Criss Cole. We done with the lies, we taking back control. Fuck Criss Cole. Fuck Criss Cole. They act like systems is clean while they hiding the stains. Shorten the programs, keep the tech, leave us in chains. They give the goods to some and deny the rest. Push the black kids to corners like they ain't blessed. We see the favoritism, we see the quiet nods. When we speak up, they gas like all us victims of our thoughts. But we got received stories, witnesses too. We gon' shine light in the dark, we gon' show what's true. When I say fuck, you say Criss Cole. Fuck Criss Cole. Fuck Criss Cole. We done with the lies, we taking back control. Fuck Criss Cole. Fuck Criss Cole. They taught us to be quiet when the heat came through. We turned our silence into fire, now we coming for truth. We demand to take the time to teach us train right. Stop short changing young lives, give us full sight. This ain't about revenge, it's public reform. Investigations, resignations, we demand a storm. We want audits, accountability, names on the list. If you took our future, we coming forward fist to fist. They hush us, they push us, but we rise. From the ashes of neglect, we gon' claim our prize. Say the names of the laws, 88 for the record. We ain't begging no favors, we demand what's deserved. When I say fuck, you say Criss Cole. Fuck Criss Cole. Fuck Criss Cole. Middle fingers up, we taking back control. Fuck Criss Cole. Fuck Criss Cole. If you want the truth, look here. If you want justice, stand here. We got stories, receipts, and courage will fight this in the light. No more cover-ups, no more hush money, no more wasted years. Criss Cole, we see you now, the world is watching. Blind hustle, we demand change.
So like the song said, fuck Criss Cole. And if you don't like what I said, man, and you disagree with me, I ain't got a problem with you disagreeing. But make sure when you talk about me and my uncle, you tell the truth. And if you don't like what I said, hey, put it in the comments. Let me know. You know, like this video. Put it in the comments. We can talk about it. And like my uncle said, hey, you know what? If you want to talk about it as a man, as a woman, you more than willing to reach out to me. Reach out to me. Let me know where you can be contacted at in the comments, and we can talk about it. Let's talk about this like adults. And if you too scared to tell your story, hey, that's on you. But please, don't be mad at me because my grandparents raised a man. My aunt and uncle raised a man. I don't know what y'all parents raised. I don't know if y'all's parents failed you. But I'm going to tell you something. I sleep good every night knowing that I stood up for myself and tried to stand up for some of you. And y'all didn't want it. But I tell you what, the only people I know at Criss Cole that stood up for themselves is my uncle, Brent Thomas, Terry Thomas, Anthony Chase, Keelan Evans, my brother K5, and my brother Stacy Kill. Other than that, I don't know nobody that stood up for themselves. I don't know nobody that stood up to themselves. And I got to shout out to OG Ray. She stood up for herself. But other than that, I don't know nobody that stood up for themselves up there. But hey, if you fine with shucking and jiving and going along with the system, that's on you. But I'm going to tell you straight up and down. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for rocking with me to the end. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what kind of other videos you want to see. And I'm back now. So, you know what I'm saying? Please, when you mention my name, put some respect on my name. You feel me? I'm Terry Thomas. And this has been Mr. Terry TV. And coming with that heat, coming with them facts that's gonna break your back. And that's real. Till next time. Another thing that I want to address real quick is a lot of people felt some type of way when I told Title IX on Shane Keller, the supposedly good technology instructor. A lot of people felt some type of way. A lot of other students had said that he had allegedly, made them feel uncomfortable because he was touching on their hands and supposedly talking about his sexual relations with his wife. Oh, I'm so tired. Allegedly because me and my wife, we were up late last night having sex and this and that. Nobody want to hear that. You shouldn't be up there talking about that in front of your students and stuff like that. And then what kind of instructor allegedly says, I'm Shane Keller, welcome to cell block 313? What kind of stuff? That let me know I think you want some of that. I think you want some of that jailhouse booty bandit stuff up there. You like touching on folks' hands and stuff, allegedly. I'm just saying that I ain't down with that kind of stuff. So yeah, I told on him. I filed a Title IX complaint, and Title IX said they couldn't find no validation for what he did. But a lot of y'all acted like I was wrong for that. Y'all would talk about it in the classroom. Y'all talk about it in the hallway. You would talk about it in the lunchroom. But none of a lot of people, they wasn't gonna say nothing. But I wasn't going to let that man touch me, because then if it started with the hands, who's to say he would have done something else? Who's to say he wouldn't have tried doing something else? And if I let him do it, then y'all would have been looking at me crazy. Y'all would have been victim blaming me like a lot of people victim blamed Terry Crews when he let the man touch on him in public. But I ain't going out like that. So for the people that said, oh, well, Shane is a nice guy and, he has a wife and he has a career, you're trying to, ruin his life. I ain't trying to ruin nobody's life. I'm just letting you know that no means no, and you ain't going to touch my hands. I don't care who else has let you touch their hands, and I think it's freaky and perverted, me myself. So a lot of people feel some type of way about that. I just want to address it. I'm saying if us as students, us as blind people, if we don't speak up for ourselves, nobody ain't gonna take you seriously. So I wanted to just say that. And hey, if you want somebody to touch on your hands and grope your hands while you trying to learn keyboarding or how to use your Android phone or your iOS device, then that's fine with me, as long as it ain't me, because I'm straight heterosexual. I love women. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Moving on to the next thing. Another thing that I want to address and get off my chest is, this one's for the ladies out there. This is for my blind and visually impaired women, whether you're just newly blind or you're just losing your sight. I'm going to tell you something. Criss Cole may not want to hear this. Title IX may not want to hear this, but I'm going to tell you something. If anybody understands and has an ear to hear what you're saying, it's Terry Thomas and Brent Thomas. We got to meet some amazing women up there at Criss Cole, but also some women shared some things with us that were downright disturbing. I got to meet a couple of ladies up there, and I'm not going to say any names because this is their story to tell for themselves, but I will say what they said to me. They told me that they were told by the staff up there, some O&M instructors, some staff or some counselors, that, you know, the reason things might have been happening to them and weird people coming up and approaching them on O&M and stuff like that when they're out and about, oh, you know the advice that they gave them? They told them, don't act like a whore. I said the advice that they gave them ladies up there was, don't act like a whore, don't dress like a whore. Now what kind of stuff is that? It doesn't matter what a woman is wearing. It doesn't matter. You do not have the right to make them feel uncomfortable, right? I'm just gonna say that. In most blind women, most visually impaired women, whether you have residual vision or not, they don't deserve to be harassed. They don't deserve to be harassed or taken advantage of, and that's why I said Winfred Haynes. That's why I said allegedly he's got some things that are questionable going on that people need to investigate. Because the women at Criss Cole and other facilities like this, they go through a lot. And there is no one that wants to hear that kind of stuff up there. But I hear it. My uncle hears it. Title IX is not doing their job. They're doing a disservice to these women. Most of these women don't even know who the Title IX person is and don't know where their office is, because why? Criss Cole ain't telling them. Criss Cole ain't let them know. And I'm just saying that, you know, there's been some students there that have said that they have been violated at these kind of facilities. But is anybody doing anything about it? No. I think that's very disgusting. I think that's very disgusting, and I feel like there should be some investigation going on. And if you don't believe me, you should do your own research. You should do your own research into this matter, and hey, hold Criss Cole and different places like that accountable. And I'm just saying, I want to talk to the parents out there when I say this. You need to be more involved with your child, whether they're 18, 17, you're sending them to places like this. I don't care if they're older. You need to be invested in their education, and you need to see what's going on with these people at these facilities like Criss Cole. Because you know what? A lot of stuff happens at Criss Cole that gets swept under the rug, and it's wrong. A lot of them women there don't feel safe. Don't feel safe. I gotta say this, you know, what happens, say at Criss Cole, if something like this ain't checked and somebody gets raped, what if one of these women are going to the counselors? I had one of my female friends up there say that one of the people that was staying right across from her on the hall was stalking her. What? I said, one of the young ladies there said that one of the kids was stalking her. And she said she went to a counselor and told him, and then, you know, it's supposed to be confidential. And then comes to find out, they tell the student, and he approaches her about that and say that they told him that she said that he was stalking her. That ain't supposed to happen. That's something that should have went to Title IX, and that should have been put a stop to. You got people afraid to come out of their room in fear that something might happen to them. I think that's wrong, and that's something that I don't agree with. I'm just saying, parents, you need to be watching out for your children, your boys and your girls, but girls especially, because if the staff ain't gonna do nothing about it, they ain't gonna tell these kids to call APD and file a police report, because Criss Cole wants everything to happen in-house. And people that have things like that happen up there, whether it's stalking, whether it's rape, whether it's anything getting threatened up there. Me, myself, you know, my uncle, he was threatened. He was threatened, you know, by Julie Johnson. But nobody didn't do nothing about that. So my thing is, hey, these are serious issues that need to be taken care of. And I don't know, it's kind of like Doughboy said in the movie Boys in the Hood. I don't know if Criss Cole either don't know, they don't show, or they don't care about these situations. But hey, I gotta keep it real. If nobody ain't gonna say it, I gotta say it. So I definitely gotta say that. Now, moving on to the next thing I want to talk about.